Many an American city is aflame this weekend. Protests over the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis came to Ritter Park in Huntington, West Virginia in a peaceful rally and march. West Virginiaville Chief Videographer Bobby Lee Messer and I were out to cover the event. We interviewed an African-American woman named T.C. Clemons. She's a teacher at Highlawn Elementary in Huntington and was the 2019 Cabell County Teacher of the Year and a runner-up for Teacher of the Year in the state. We were expecting to get a minute interview with her, but as she spoke, both Bobby Lee and I were transfixed. We just let the tape roll, and what you're going to hear is unedited, and I think it's what we all need to be hearing tonight, tomorrow, and the day after.
To treat people differently simply because of the color of their skin is not acceptable. And it hurts. And I'm 64 years old, and I remember the first incidents of racism at 7 years old. My mom and I walking to a hospital on the back road, and a little girl running to the fence who was playing in the yard, ran up to the fence and said, "Look, Mommy, niggers." And immediately my mom grabbed my hand and we quickly walked away. But we never talked about it, but I knew it wasn't something good. But even older, in my 50s, I'm at the beach and my sister and I are driving back to where we are staying, and these young group of college students, white males, start hollering niggers. I mean, just as loud as they could. And my oldest sister had this look in her eyes that terrified me. And when I mean terrified me, I knew she was not going to let that stop there. And my 5-year-old nephew was sitting in the back seat wondering what's going on. My sister proceeds to get closer and closer to the bumper of that truck, and I'm telling her, no, we are not going to follow them. But at that point, she didn't want to hear it because she was hurt. But she was more furious that you're screaming this out and we've done nothing to you. And I told her, we cannot follow. Because what if they follow us, we follow them and they lead us to a dead end? But then my sister says, I have something. And I was like, oh, now I'm really scared because I don't know what that something is. But she was to that point where I am so sick and tired of this that I need to do something. And if it means that someone's going to be hurt, then I need to do something because this has to stop. But prayerfully, she heard my voice. And I said, we cannot continue to follow them. And she stopped and went in a different direction. But what hurts is that, why does that still happen? What did we do to them to cause them to target us and say that? And then there's my nephew in the backseat wondering what's going on because the whole atmosphere has changed. The whole atmosphere. I mean, it made me like literally sick to my stomach. And that night, I didn't cry just for me and my sister, but I cried for my nephew because he is black and he is going to have more problems than my sister and I would ever have. But why? Why is that necessary? Why can't you know me past the color of this? Why do you always see this? Why? And why are we still doing this at 64 years old? Why? I mean, you just get to a point where you're tired. You're just tired. My ancestors went through it. My grandmother went through it. My mom went through it. I went through it. I have a son, one of the best sons in the whole wide world. He has been through it, and he just happens to look a little bit like you. But that doesn't make a difference, the shade of our skin. He was followed into where he lives and asked, where are you going? Stopped by a policeman. And he says, this is where I live. Why did the policeman feel it necessary to stop my son? We're tired. We're tired, and change has to start now. And we can't just no longer talk about it. We have to do something about it. And what happened to George Floyd, it was wrong. And it was wrong the very minute it happened. It shouldn't have taken rioting. It shouldn't have taken that much anger to have someone say, oh, yes, it was murder. It should never have taken that. But the frustration of our people is so deep that when no one does what's right and everybody is watching it, you just lose it. I don't condone violence, but it has been so built up, the mistreatment of us because of our color, that you just really get tired. And it's time for change. And our policemen, they need more sensitivity training. And until you are born into this skin, all you can do is empathize and sympathize, because you will never, ever know the experiences that we feel on a daily basis. I am educated. I am a child of God. I do nothing but love, but that does not stop people from looking at just my color. It does not stop them. They see that first and then they judge. But you don't even know who I am. And another thing, I'm the one that your kids come to when they can't talk to you. I am the one that wipes the tears from their eyes. I am the one that speaks life into them when they don't know that there's any life for them. Me. And they don't see my color, they see Mrs. TC. They see my love. They don't see my color. And we have to, at one point, not see color, but at another point, we have to see color. Because this will continue to happen. And not only that, it will continue to get worse. And a nation divided will fall. And we cannot fall, because that encompasses the whole world. We cannot fall. And so we have to do more than just talk. Come live with me. Come walk with me. Come feel with me. Come acknowledge that what I'm feeling is for real. Just come do that. And then maybe you'll have a different perception of racism and why you feel it's okay to look at the color of my skin and totally forget my heart. Totally.